Hey everybody, thanks for joining Tripod. My name is Rafael Sangili, I'm the host of Tripod. We're joined today by Giovanni Sangili. If the name sounds familiar, it's 'cause he's my brother. So yeah, I've known this guy for a long time, probably too long. Right, so actually today's podcast, we're going to cover direct mail strategies, different ways to make those successful, and just some general good ways to give gifts. Right now, holiday season's coming up. People want to give gifts, so some cool ways to really give gifts and to show people you care. So stay tuned. It's going to be a good podcast. Hey everybody, and welcome to Tripod. My name is Rafael Sangili. I'm your host of Tripod. We're joined today by Giovanni Sangili, my brother, and also CEO of TriDigital. We're going to talk today about a bunch of different stuff, mostly direct mail strategies. So Giovanni, we've been doing some really cool stuff for some of our partners, sending new direct mail campaigns out, really cool gifts of what do you call them? Gifts of art. We have different ways that our partners are starting to send stuff out to their clients. They're creative, right? Everyone gets stuff in digital format now, so there's really cool ways to do this. So I'm going to have Giovanni just kind of walk us through some of the philosophies and things that have worked for some of our partners and what we've been up to, man. So let me know a little bit about direct mail strategies and kind of, what we should do.
You bet. Thanks, Ralph. So as we talk to a lot of our clients, they, what's really attractive for them is a lot of the digital marketing, digital advertising, and ways of generating inbound leads. Pay-per-click's pretty popular, all that kind of stuff. And in our industry specifically, a lot of these guys are not very marketing savvy. So what we try to help our partners understand is that any type of marketing can be effective. It doesn't matter how traditional you go back. As long as you're creative and you have a really good idea, that's really what matters when it comes to marketing. So the biggest question all the time is, well, do direct mail strategies work? Well, of course they work. It's just about, again, the level of creativity and the level of effort you put into it. You know what I mean? Right. Whether you're going to get results from it or not.
So just sending like random postcards, is that something you'd still do?
I call postcards glossy toilet paper, right? Yeah. That's that kind of direct mail stuff that you do in mass. It just clutters your inbox. It becomes a stack shit on your desk. It eventually goes in the trash. No one even looks at it. Right. So, that's why we're big proponents here of teaching our clients quality over quantity when it comes to direct mail. And who's your target, who you're focusing on, what kind of impact you want to make with that person, what type of impression, especially if this is marketing, is probably a first impression. Mm-hmm. What kind of impression you want to make with that person when they get your mail.
How should somebody start this thing off? Like if I'm going to do a direct mail strategy, I'm doing some email blasts, doing some things. When does direct mail even fall into the marketing plan? Is it something that I should do like, hey, day one, send a whatever? Or should I do it like after I've already done some campaigns to that prospect?
Well, you can, right? I mean, if you think about someone receiving a piece of collateral and you remove the mail piece of it, everybody does it because you hand out business cards to people. So, right, that's a piece of physical print that you give somebody. Mm-hmm. Some people have really creative business cards and put a lot of time and effort, energy into it, and you kind of, right away when you're holding a business card that's different, or they're like, wow, man, I see so many of these. This one feels and looks different, and it kind of becomes a conversation starter. Mm-hmm. So when I tell people before or after the sales process, it's really up to you. I think you got to think about your appetite for the investment amount into it. And that'll help you guide where in the marketing process you put it. So like if you don't have a lot of money, right, and you want to do a really good direct mail blast, you're probably going to want to wait later in the sales cycle so that you know that this prospect has touched your marketing a couple times. You've done some research. They're the right seat size. They're the right type of client. Just philosophically, you think they're great. Okay, cool. Then at that point, you take the resources you can grab together, the budget you can grab together, and do the best possible direct mail campaign you can afford for that specific person. So instead of just grabbing a list and 2,000 names and 2,000 pieces out here, right? You're going to want to go ahead and take that budget, because if you don't have a big budget and you're doing 2,000 pieces, what can you do? More glossy toilet paper, right? More postcards. So you're going to want to just go ahead and say, okay, I can do 200 nice pieces of something. And in order for me to determine who's going to get that nice something, I need to do more research, and naturally, the people that are receiving that, and if they become leads, it's a much better fit for your organization.
Like what are some good conversion numbers? If I'm like let's say I send out 100 pieces, how do I track and know that this is successful?
Well, it also depends on how big you go, right? Mm-hmm. So one of our clients, he specializes in the architectural vertical. So what he did was when the Microsoft Surface Studio came out, because a lot of architects just buy little tablets, bamboo, Cintiqs, things that they draw on to connect to their PC. The Microsoft Studio was the first one that was a PC, and then you can bring down and start doing interactive art on it. It had a 4K display, the whole bit. Plus, it was new, and there was a lot of hype around the marketing. So he took the top 5 leads that were just ideal, sweet prospects, right? That if he got them, they would be like $7,500 each, and he sent them all a Microsoft Surface.
How much are Microsoft Surfaces?
That's like $3,500 each.
Wow,
right?
Cheap.
So
That's a good deal.
So no, that kind of expensive. But again, you take a look at 13, 14 grand that he put into it, right? All 5 came back with in-person appointments.
Well, yeah,
3 deals which he closed, $30,000 a month. It's worth it all day.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean it's not a bad investment. It's just a lot of risk, right? A lot of guys out there aren't balling enough right now. They're not. That's baller mode direct mail strategy.
Yeah.
What if what's a good strategy for not so much of a baller mode?
Well, it's not about so much of a baller mode, right? I mean, the average MSP should be marketing 3 to 5% of their annual gross revenue towards marketing, right? That's a Paul Dipple service leadership stat. So you take that, and what you have to determine is if, let's say, that budget ends up being $150,000, right? You need to determine, okay, I got to get the labor to create my direct mail piece. I also want to do emails. I also want to do events. I also want to do whatever else. So if part of that makes you comfortable having a $10K budget for direct mail strategy, right? Then what you decide is, do I want to kind of just go narrow 5 and only send it to 5 process this big gift? That can totally be a strategy. Or do you want to bring in more leads first and do something still better than just a postcard, something like the brochure here, which we'll go over in a minute, right? That's a little nicer, but again, that can go out to a couple hundred people and still create a better impression than what the competition's sending out.
Right.
So that's going to be up to whatever that business owner feels comfortable with.
That's cool. And, I think one of the biggest things to take away from this thing is we tell people, really make it, if you're going to print something, right, really try to invest as much as you possibly can into it, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's something tangible. People are touching it. They're going to grab it, whether it's your business card, whatever it is. We even also our business cards are crazy thick. They're like little weapons, right? Because they're so thick and they're kind of heavy and they're crazy. But it's important that, people feel it. They immediately go, wow, this is a nice card. It feels all soft. It's got a weird, texture to it or something like that. But something that's also still practical, because I think you can still write on our cards, for example, right? Yeah. So a lot of guys invest into these crazy metal business cards or all this stuff, but you can't really do anything with it. It's just this this hunk of metal in your pocket or whatever, and people are going to remember it, but it's expensive and then maybe not as productive, right?
I don't mind that so much, man. I'm a big guy that we're in an industry that has a lot of competition. Whatever you can do to stand out and be different, whether it's 100% functional or not, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the goal is to make, your piece as functional as you can be, but the differentiation, right? While I do believe that we have a business card that feels different with the soft touch and the embossed foil and the hot stamp and the thickness of it and all that, while I think that's great, I still think that the biggest appeal for it is that we put a comic rendering on the back of the card and make it look like a trading card, because when we go to events, a lot of people, try to collect the whole set. So instead of them wanting one business, some people don't even want your business card sometimes. For them going to go one to get one of everybody, it's doing its job. But I think it's because they just haven't seen anything like that in this industry before.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I think that there's also a line that you want to just make sure you can maintain in terms of just keeping the level of quality up, because you can go from pass right by quality and cool into cheesy and weird, right? You want to make sure you keep that legit, right? So tell me a little bit about what these things are. What is this? So this is our brochure that we have right here, a new brochure. What's some of the thought process that goes into making a really nice brochure, something that stands out? Because a lot of people say, dude, I don't even need a brochure, keep it digital, whatever. I want to keep it green. I don't know, whatever people's excuses are for not having a brochure, but you hear a bunch of crazy stuff.
Well, I mean, I don't think so much is about, having a brochure or not. I don't think people understand that just the concept of direct mail itself and how powerful it can be, because all they correlate it with is a regular print marketing letter that I printed on my home printer, a flyer, a postcard that's glossy or whatever, and haven't had any success. Therefore, all of direct mail is not successful. One of the things you want to do, right, with the direct mail piece is what I like about a brochure should have information about your company, who you are, and everything you offer, all the solutions you offer, to case studies, testimonials, pictures of your infrastructure, all that kind of stuff. I think that's what makes a good brochure. And when you've never talked to anybody before, you can give them more options of how to engage you, right? But the biggest thing that you have to overcome first is someone going to throw your direct marketing piece away. And I think when they feel the quality of a brochure like this, right? And we've got a little bit with the die cut and how we cut some of the things out. They see something like this. They know that a lot of money, time, energy, and effort went into something like that. And most people don't even never throw it away, right? They keep it, and they keep it on their desk, and they're just like, wow, you know what? And we have clients all the time that tell us, I never threw it away. It was just really nice. It's been sitting on my desk, and I eventually look at it from time to time, and they eventually call us and become a client.
Yeah.
Perfect example is we went to IT Nation, and most people put like a little card or a little queue. I looked at all the different vendors that put in just this little one piece of collateral on it. Mm-hmm. And we went through the expense. It was a $15,000 expense just to get our brochures in every single one of the bags, right? But I had a bunch of people that were like, I never usually go to sponsor breakouts or anything. And I came just because I got your brochure, and it felt really good that way. Some of our clients, one of our clients in Miami, this little old school, and mean, he knows what I'm talking about. All he uses is the brochures. We will get him all the digital leads. He likes that because he has relationships with property managers. So he'll do a bunch, at the elevators by the building, and people get them. And one dentist or accounting office will leave it out in their lobby area, and other business owners come in while they're waiting, and they read it and they call him. So that's the kind of power that direct mail can have. And that's why, for us, this is kind of like a bare minimum, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's different enough, it's quality enough that with the budget, you can still have a pretty wide net, but a big impact on that net. Yeah, maybe not 5,000 postcards, but probably 1,000 brochures, right?
So, and what's the average cost of one of these brochures? Like, what do you say?
Well, it depends. I mean, when you go to a printer, this is offset print, and we have a lot of fancy things to it. But whenever you're doing offset printing, and we could do another podcast about printing, it's printing on plates and all this kind of stuff, and then we do perfect binding instead of saddle stitch binding, which is the smooth edge at the end of it. That kind of stuff, it costs about $3,000 to $3,500 to print 1,000 to 1,500 of these brochures, right? So it's still within the mass, and then you put $1 per postage or whatever else. Even on the higher end postage, you're packing in a lot of stuff. It's like $2.50. So for $5,000, $6,000, right? That's probably less within a $10,000 budget. You can make an incredible impact on 1,000 businesses.
And now this falls under, total cost lead acquisition, right? I mean, how does this impact those ratios, and is that something you should consider as you're looking at?
Of course, right? Any type of marketing approach that you do, you got to look at a couple different factors. Of course, you want the most amount of leads you can get at the lowest price. That is an important KPI. It's called cost of lead acquisition. So when you take a look at all the leads you've gotten and you calculate it all back towards your marketing spend, you say, hey, I spent a couple $100 a lead. I spent $1,000 a lead. That is an important stat, right? But then you also have to take into consideration cost of client acquisition. It may take you more of these low cost leads and a longer period of time to convert them, which is digital marketing, where I may pay more for this lead up front, but it ended up closing a lot faster. I mean, think of the story I told you before with our client that's just in architectural firms, right? To get into an account that big, it's going to take you a long time. Yeah, he did pay $3,500 per lead, but when he got them back, 3 of the guys sign up. So the cost of lead acquisition the cost of client acquisition was reduced dramatically. You know what I mean? So you got to balance both those stats. right? And leverage your strengths. That's why, aside from direct mail strategy is one thing, but some people like doing events because they're like, man, you know what? The digital leads are good and I can follow up with those, but when I'm face to face with people, right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to convert a lot more of those into business. Well, then, of course, getting face to face with somebody, you have venue costs, you have all kinds of stuff. So cost of lead acquisition is way up here, but cost of client acquisition is way down here. Okay. So through that math, you're going to find the best fit for you, at the end of the year, and just kind of diversify your marketing mix a bit.
Okay, excellent. And tell me a little bit about this random boxes right here. It's very colorful. It's nice.
So
it's a strong box.
This is again, and I'll give you guys this is one of our bigger direct mail pieces, right? This is not just taking this and having an impression with a great impression with 1,000 people, but I want a phenomenal impression on 40, 50 people.
Right.
Okay. So my lead focus has gone down dramatically, but what TriDigital has done is when we look at our leads, we look at who is the best culture fit, great size, where the lifetime value of that relationship, we can grow together, we can do a lot of things, and we have a demographic that we target that is ideal for us. And again, just like in any business, the more prime you go for that right type of client, the less of them there are, the more competition there is to get in. So we had been doing gift of technology campaigns for our clients, which was like a box that's beautifully designed, and it would have an iPhone, X. Yeah, we give away iPhone X. We give away the Apple Watch in some of them. In some of them, we give away a tablet. In some of them, we give away a Microsoft Surface, but Surface Studio. But the thing is for them, we would come up with a campaign that says, hey, there are smarter things to do with your time than to be managing IT or whatever else. So you get that box. People just want to open boxes. They see that there was a gift. Some people like to do it the cheesy way and like, oh, call us back to get the watch. I'm like, they're CEOs of their own company. They buy their own watch. Okay. But the fact that you gave them a gift, it makes them feel, you kind of like guilt them into taking the appointment with you, and you made a tremendous impression. And there's a book called What Makes You Click. It's written by psychologists, really cool UI UX book. But they did a kind of like a survey of trying to get people to respond and fill out these surveys. And they did it to a group without giving them anything. And the other people, they just bought them drinks and food and everything. And then they got a much higher percentage of people to do it. So people tend to reciprocate whatever you put out to them. And that has a value, and that took time, and that took care. So they'll give you the time back to meet with you. For TriDigital, obviously, we're not selling technology, but we're selling creative services, and we're big fans of art. So this right here is a gift of art. And we designed the box. The boxes, and for everybody listening, you can use a company called Packable. The reason I like it, and we'll put a link down in the description, Packable, you're able to buy boxes in a small quantity and not have to spend a lot. So you may only spend like $150 to $200 on 10 boxes, right? And remember, this is like not going to thousands of people. This is going to a few people. Mm-hmm. So you can get boxes at a low cost. If you have a good designer, you can do a really good design for it. And again, it just looks really good and gets you excited about opening it. What we did was we wanted to kind of showcase our services. So we believe that everything we do is a piece of art. For this candidate, the company, and if he's watching, surprise, but, the company's name is George John, and the CEO, his name is George Nedwick. And I love the company. I got their cards. They had different cards too. I started researching and reading about their culture and the type of people they are. And what sold me on him, aside from watching all the videos and everything else, what sold me on him was the fact that he was a big Simpsons fan. Wow. He's like, I'm a huge Simpsons fan. You can find me at Moe's, right? Yeah. I'm all Simpsons. This is awesome. So what we decided to do was, hey, you know what? Let's give him a gift of art. Let's draw him as a Simpson.
Nice.
Okay. And he said, meet us at Moe's. We have a creative bar in our new studio. So we went ahead and took and got some Duff beer cans, and we designed it to make it look like it was Duff beer. But we're all sitting there together drinking and like, hey, come join us, for a Duff, to kind of get that impression with him. To kind of showcase more. Oh, let me just go ahead and show it to the camera right here so you guys can take a look. So what you see here is the cell and original art pieces that are done as a one-of-a-kind piece. We want to do more than just the sketch and just the drawing. I said usually original art pieces are done on a cell. So we got a cell printed and we overimpose it over the background of Mo's bar, which is really cool. And then we got a little metal plaque here to put his name on it. And then that little coin at the bottom is, a one-of-a-kind piece, little emblem from Tri-Digital. And we even went as far as, again, because we're, if you guys ever watched the movie Rock and Rolla, right? And the great words of Lenny, it's all about the details. Here, we went ahead and put a certificate of authenticity, a foil stamp, wrote his name in gold, personalized letter in the back with a wonderful beauty scarf, a little typo I had there. But again, it feels authentic. Even the flaw makes it more authentic. You know what I mean? And for us, that's what we can do to showcase our talent, our level of commitment of earning his business. I really hope that he sees it and likes it as much as we do. And then finally here, if you take a look at See the Magic, a lot of our theme here in Tri-Digital is about behind the scenes of how we do some of this stuff. So in this USB, you're going to see how we did it, how we drew it, the idea behind it, all the different people it took to create something like this, because a big philosophy is with team rendered innovations, it takes a lot of people working really hard to create really good pieces of art. So if he wanted to see behind the scenes of how this all got done, he gets kind of a sneak peek of what it's like to work with us. And we hope that inspires us to at least have the conversation to get in the room and talk to him and hopefully win their business, right?
I hope so too, man. This is a lot of work to win in to see if somebody wants to even have a conversation with you. Yeah. Jesus Christ. But, is this video that's on this thing going to be available later on, like after we when he gets this?
Yeah. We can publish it later on and kind of show people what's going on. And hopefully those of you that fit our ideal market will you get a gift of art from us. As much as we can afford, we'll try to do.
You know what you did, right? Yeah. Everybody's now going to be wanting these things.
Oh, yes, right.
Yeah, everyone's going to be like, dude, you want to talk to me, bro? You better send me a damn Simpsons cell or this conversation's over. Yeah. Right?
So, that's our strategy. Of course, this channel is designed for, our clients in our channel and IT services. So back to what I was telling you guys before, you just have to care about it. It doesn't matter if it's direct mail, if it's an event, whatever you're doing. I tell our customers all the time, if you're looking for someone that you're just going to offload marketing to and you really don't give a shit and you're just going to have them do it, who cares? I don't care. And whatever comes out of it, just bring me leads. That's the wrong mentality. You're never going to get anything. You have to care about every single piece you put out there as if this is your one-time grand slam home run for everything. Yeah. I see people that have a really nice homepage and just a crappy interior page on their website that's just text, or they don't care about how their blogs look or whatever. I learned this from Jim Lee, my favorite artist. Most people that draw or try to create art focus on just the focal point. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to draw Superman, so I want Superman to look really good. But a really good artist in general will put Superman in an environment and wants the environment to look just as good as Superman does, even though he's the focal point. So it's the same kind of idea when you're doing your marketing. You can't care about more one than the other. If you made a decision that you're going to do direct mail or that you're going to do an event, that you execute that with the same intensity, time, energy, and care that you do another piece that you may have spent more time on.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys, right, they spend a lot of time building out their help desks and building out their service delivery teams, which is good. They have to do that, right? Yeah. But then they don't realize that if they don't really get anything out there that, actively represents them, that no one's going to know that they have this super awesome, service delivery team waiting. It's like having a Ferrari in the garage. It's a cool car, but no one knows you have it.
Well, that's a good point. Look, it's like this. It's like people don't understand that to win a client, it's not who can build and configure the server the fastest. It's not a competition like, here's me and 5 competitors and I'm just going to build it faster than you. See, everybody says they offer better support than somebody else, but they don't know that until they sign the contract. You know what I'm saying? So all they have to evaluate you on is the marketing impression you leave. And I tell people all the time, and I'll break this down in way more detail in another podcast, is how to run a balanced organization. for those of you out there listening, your company runs like this: marketing first, sales second, service delivery third, and operations fourth. Well, you're just saying that because you're a marketing company. No, because if you never got a lead, you never sold anything. And if you never sold anything, you're not delivering anything. If you're not delivering anything, there is no operation. There is no business. So you got referrals. That was the type of lead in the beginning. Referrals are drying up. So what are you going to do? The bottleneck, you're never going to have a perfectly balanced company. Nobody's figured it out. Steve Jobs, Elon, no one's figured it out. The bottleneck shifts. So you spend all your time, energy, and resources building the service desk, and now you want more sales because they're not busy enough. Mm-hmm. So now your bottleneck is either marketing or sales. Marketing or sales start to get crazy, then what happens? Bottleneck shifts back to service delivery. Not enough techs to do the work. There's too many projects, can't handle it. Yeah. So what you need to do is care equally about each department in your business as you do about service delivery. If service delivery is not a bottleneck, go invest your time, energy, and resources to where the bottleneck is at. Fix that, and so on and so forth. And that's how you grow.
Yeah, all worked up about this thing, man.
Well, I'm passionate about it, man.
No, that's good. You're yelling at these guys. Hey, everybody at home.
Sorry.
Stop crying. It's okay. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Right. But I'm just trying to give an idea. It's like I care a lot about this. Of course, I care a lot about it. But I want the goal is to transform the way MSP and IT service providers think about marketing, and that's a really good, realistic parallel to get their mindset in the right direction.
This is all good feedback, and I think we're playing around. If you guys are crying, though, we already are sorry. But it's really important to keep that in mind. You have to care. This is what people are going to look at first, right? I mean, you can't even forecast. Any guys out there trying to forecast like revenue, say, oh, well, I'm going to do so much next year, and you're working completely off referrals. That's a gamble. You have no idea how many exactly referrals are coming in. So if your marketing machine is not, forecastable, and you understand how many are coming in, you can't forecast sales. Because you can only forecast sales when you have an accurate number of leads that are coming in, then everything else rolls after that, right? So, this is a good advice, Giovanni, that you're giving out. Any resources, because we're about to wrap up here, people should check out online, maybe some things we want to look up, some different ways you can give back. Because I think direct mail doesn't have to just be stuff with your logo and stuff printed out. I mean, it's cool to have that. Like we do give. If you are one of our clients, by the way, and you sign up with us, you're going to get brownie points, which is like a little box full of like cookies and brownies, and they're delicious. All right. They're really good. We're all obviously big fans. All right. So, but they're really cool, and they have your logo on and they look really great. So it's just be creative about what you want to do. What we always tell people too is like find like a local bakery, even if you can too. Like let's say you don't want to do like a big online thing, right? Build a relationship with like a local bakery, local pastry place, whatever, something that you really like, right? And have them work with you. Like some of them will work with you to put your business cards or your logo or whatever on their stuff, and then give that to your clients. Again, it's a good representation of who you are, right? You're just going out and buying like some super cheap donuts or whatever. It's hurting your brand. It's hurting your image.
Yeah, and like just to recap, I'm going to give you guys some resources, and then of course, the link to all this stuff is in the description. You can do there, and you can look there. And then again, if you want to keep getting more advice from us, please hit the subscribe button. And follow us, and you'll keep getting videos like this. It'll give you more ideas.
Yeah, we have to want to yell at you anytime you want.
Yeah,
subscribe.
You bet. But Brownie Points is a company we use. When they started out, they would just kind of send out gifts. Well, of course, we talked to them early on and said, what can we do to brand the gifts and make it a little bit more special? And they were a really good partner to work with us. And that was really the first direct mail we did. Mm-hmm. It was a way of getting our branding and our messaging around this gift back to them and thanking them for their business that they really enjoyed. So if you look at our Twitter feed, you see a lot of people, hey, taking pictures. Thank you so much, Tri Digital team, and it's awesome. You can do that. Again, if in closing, take a look at who your target audience is. Your community is only so small, so you got to make the best impression you can. Kind of split up your targets into the grade A, top 20 platinum, whatever you want to call them, and they get something great. And your top 200 get something, not as great, but still very good. And probably start there. Start smaller, go bigger. You should have success with your direct mail.
Get the fat ducks to give like these things.
Yeah, exactly. Fat ducks get these things.
Skinny ducks get whatever stuff.
Skinny ducks get good things, just not as great.
If you guys know what we're talking about, feel free to email us. We'll explain the whole duck story. It's ridiculous.
That's another podcast.
Another podcast about the ducks. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Anyway, Jovi, thank you very much. I love you, man.
You're welcome.
Doing great work here.
Love you too.
Doing, This is going to be amazing. Next year's going to be fantastic. We've got a lot of new stuff coming out. So stay tuned, guys. We have a lot of cool stuff coming out. Jovi, thanks again. Appreciate it.
Man.
Yeah, solid handshake, by the way.
Yeah.
Very good. Aaron and Scott, thank you guys for working the cameras and putting this whole thing together. And thank you guys for listening and for subscribing and for following along. We really mean this. Look, honestly, give us some feedback. Let us know how these things are going. If you want us to make these better, suggestions, people you want to have on, topics you want us to cover, that's the only way these things get better. We're making these for you guys, okay?
So please let us know in the comments below. We'll do a podcast about anything you want to learn about.
Whatever you want to learn about. Whatever. Okay, I will literally talk about almost anything. All right, guys. Thank you very much for your time, and guys, also for the music. Thanks, Omar, for hooking it up for the great soundtrack. That's it.
That's it.
Next time.
Bye,
see you guys. Back to work, everybody. All right. When do we start? Oh, right. It's supposed to start now. Okay, so do I look in this camera? Hi.
Just like,
Hi, and welcome to this. Hi, and welcome to Tripod, episode 8. Dude.